Here is your full emotional, engaging, long-format story written exactly in plain paragraphs, smooth pacing, no headings, crafted for a 40-minute YouTube video with a powerful hook that motivates viewers to like and subscribe. If someone told you that one act of kindness could expose the truth about a person's heart, would you dare to test them? The screen fades in as the narrator's voice deepens. Tonight, you're about to witness what a single dad does when he thinks no one is watching. And trust me, what the CEO sees makes her freeze in shock. Before the viewer can blink, the story grabs their breath. Stay until the end, and if this story touches your heart even once, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people find stories like this. The story begins on a cold December evening in the towering glass headquarters of Solaris Industries, one of the country's fastest-growing companies. Inside, the lights burned late, and at the very top floor sat Maya Layden, the youngest female CEO in the company's history. To the world she was fierce, brilliant, intimidating, a woman who built her life from nothing. But underneath her armor lived a quiet fear. She didn't know who around her she could trust. Too many people approached her with fake smiles and hidden agendas. Too many friendships had turned out to be traps. So Maya worked alone, walked alone, lived alone. Down in the lobby, in a corner most executives never glanced toward, stood Daniel Hale, a single dad in his early 30s who worked as an evening maintenance supervisor. He was soft-spoken, polite, and always on time. Most people barely remembered his name. But if you paid attention, you would notice the way he carried his lunch in a small, worn box that once belonged to his late wife. Or the way his daughter Lily's hand-drawn pictures peeked out of his bag. He never complained, never caused trouble, and never asked for anything. That kind of goodness, Maya thought, no longer existed in the world. But she wasn't sure. Not yet. Maya first noticed Daniel when he helped an elderly delivery driver who had dropped a heavy crate. It wasn't his job, yet he sprinted across the lobby, lifted the weight alone, and made sure the man was okay before returning silently to his duties. That moment stayed with her. Something about him was different. Genuine. And for reasons she couldn't explain, she kept finding herself observing him from afar. How he greeted everyone, how he smiled even on the days when exhaustion shadowed his eyes, how he always rushed home right at 9 p.m. to be with his daughter. One day, while reviewing reports, Maya came across a troubling note from rumors that Daniel might be violating protocols, staying in restricted areas, handling tasks outside his role. The report lacked details and felt suspicious, but it planted a seed of worry. Was he really as genuine as he seemed? Or was she being fooled again? So Maya came up with a plan, a strange one, even by her standards. She decided to test him. That Friday night, she remained in her office after hours. She shut the lights, reclined on the couch, and pretended to be asleep. She left her purse on the table with her wallet slightly visible, her phone on the floor as if it had slipped from her hand. Anyone with the slightest temptation would have done something. And she wanted to see if Daniel was truly the man she hoped he was, or just another person wearing a mask. At 8:47 p.m., she heard soft footsteps. Daniel entered the floor for his routine rounds. His keys jingled lightly as he walked. He paused, she could feel his eyes on her. Her heart thudded. This was it. Would he touch her things? Would he snoop? Would he betray her trust the way so many others had? But Daniel didn't move toward the purse. Instead, he picked up her fallen phone and gently placed it beside her, careful not to wake her. His voice was quiet, almost tender. You must be exhausted. Don't worry, I'll keep the floor quiet. Maya nearly opened her eyes right then, but the moment wasn't over. As he continued tidying the room, he paused at her desk. A photo frame lay face down, one she hadn't realized had tipped earlier. He lifted it and froze. The picture inside was of Maya with her late father, the man who raised her alone. Daniel looked at the photo with a softness she didn't expect. I know what that feels like, he murmured. His voice cracked. Maya's breath caught. Daniel carefully cleaned the dust off the frame and placed it back upright. He began humming a lullaby, an old melody only parents seemed to know. Then something happened that made Maya freeze. Daniel pulled out a tiny folded paper from his pocket. A drawing from his daughter. A woman standing beside a little girl with the words, "Daddy says good people are everywhere." He placed it on the table beside her, as if leaving a gift of hope. You look like someone who needs a reminder, he whispered. Maya felt her chest tighten, but it wasn't enough to break her disguise yet. Then his phone rang quietly. He answered instantly. Hi, Lily. Daddy's almost done. Did you eat dinner? Yes. Good girl. He listened as his daughter proudly explained she had saved him a cookie. I can't wait to try it, he said softly, his voice glowing. I'll be home soon. Maya felt something inside her crack open, something she hadn't felt in years. When he hung up, Daniel turned back to her, checked the temperature in the room, and gently covered her with the blanket folded on the couch. No one should have to work this hard alone, he whispered. Then he turned off the brighter lights, leaving only a warm glow behind, and quietly left the room. The second the door clicked shut, Maya sat up. Her heart was racing, her eyes stung with tears. She had tested him expecting nothing, and instead, he had shown her a heart larger than anyone she had known. The next day, she summoned him to her office. Daniel walked in nervously, unsure why the CEO wanted to see him. Maya, Ms. Layton, did I do something wrong? She looked at him for a long, quiet moment. No, Daniel, she finally said. You did something very right. She told him everything, how she'd pretended to be asleep, how she'd watched, how he'd passed a test he never knew existed. He turned red with embarrassment, apologizing for entering her office, but she shook her head. You protected me, she said. And you reminded me what kindness looks like. Then she handed him something that made his knees weaken, a promotion. A full-time daytime supervisor position with a salary that could change his and Lily's life completely. You're exactly the kind of person this company needs, she said. You're someone I can trust. Daniel's voice broke. Thank you, from me and from my daughter. You have no idea what this means. I think I do, she replied softly. Weeks passed, and Daniel settled into his new role. He worked harder than ever, not out of fear, but out of gratitude. Maya, meanwhile, found herself drawn to his warmth, his humility, his devotion to his daughter. She started joining him during lunch breaks, sometimes helping Lily with homework on video calls, sometimes just listening to him talk about life. She felt her guarded world soften. One rainy evening, as Daniel prepared to head home, Maya walked him to the lobby. You know, she said gently, sometimes the right people show up when we've forgotten how to hope. Daniel smiled. Sometimes we just need someone to see us. Their eyes met, not romantically, not yet, but with a deep human connection, the kind that heals old wounds quietly.